Good morning. It is Monday again, and I welcome everyone. I want to encourage you to keep growing. The scripture says, study to show yourself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. The scripture says to buy wisdom and to sell it not. And there are so many scriptures that talk about us learning and growing. And, I know we know that, but I want to challenge you today to make it intentional to do something new, to learn something you hadn't learned before, to continue to grow. Getting older doesn't necessarily make you smarter, it just makes you older. And being wiser is a choice. You don't have any choice about getting older. You're either going to get older or you're going to die. But you can make a choice to grow. You can make a choice to learn something new. And the truth is, you and I are one step away, one skill set away, one idea away, one action away from the next level. It's just one thing that's keeping you from getting to the next place. Maybe it's learning to type. Maybe it's a book you need to read. Maybe it's a relationship that the Lord wants to connect you with someone. But all of us are just one thing away from the next level. And that's called growing, getting to the next level, learning. And I'm not a big Larry King fan, but Larry King said one time, I can learn nothing listening to myself today. If I'm going to grow, I'm going to have to hear from someone else. And there's a real truth in that. You and I are not going to grow, we're not going to learn, we're not going to get smarter if we just continue to know what we know. Now, think about this for a second. If you were a rocket scientist, I mean, just a brilliant individual, and you knew a whole lot of stuff, let's just say you're the smartest man on the planet. Let's just go there. You know more than anybody else. If you start talking today, and let's just say you could talk 24/7 and you talk for 10 days, 2 weeks, just sharing everything you know. At the end of that 2 weeks, you wouldn't have gained one iota in intelligence because you already know what you know. So if you're going to learn, if you're going to grow, if you're going to get to the next level, you have to hear from someone else. You can learn from a child, you can learn from a movie, from a book, from watching others, but you have to be willing to grow and realize you already know what you know, so you need something new. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you keep getting what you've been getting, right? So my challenge to you today is to grow, is to purpose in your heart. I'm going to read one chapter in a book. I'm going to read one verse in the Bible and just think on it. I'm going to learn how to do one new thing on my phone or on my laptop or with my tool. I'm going to listen to someone I don't normally listen to, that I'm going to purpose in my heart to take someone to lunch to just hear their story. It's incredible how people can add value to you if you're willing to just engage in a real conversation with them, to learn something new from them that you didn't know about them before. It'll give you a different perspective of who they are as a person and why they are the way they are. So, I want to challenge you again. Keep growing, keep learning, keep curiosity. Children are the fastest growing minds on the planet. And the reason they're the fastest growing minds on the planet is because they're willing to ask questions. Why is the sky blue? Why is the ground brown? Why does that dog, have spots? Why does that horse have spots? Why? They're continually seeking new information, and because of it, their mind is growing exponentially. The problem with us as adults is we for, we don't want to ask questions anymore. We stop asking questions because we know just enough to get us to our job and back, just enough to get us through the day. But if you want to grow, you got to be like a child. You got to be willing to grow. You got to be willing to ask. You know, kids don't even know their questions might be silly. They're just questions. We get to the place where we do not want to look silly in front of our friends. We don't want to be the only guy or gal in the room that doesn't know what that actually means. But what you will find is if you are humble enough to ask, listen, I heard you say this word 3 times. I'm not sure what that means. People will come to you afterwards and say, thank you for asking. I didn't know either, but I didn't want to ask. And not wanting to ask is what keeps us small. Not wanting to ask is what keeps us from the next level. So, beloved, keep growing, keep studying, keep searching, keep your curiosity. Be like a child. Love y'all so much. Look forward to seeing you next Monday. If you think this would help somebody you're connected to, or maybe you don't know it would help somebody you're connected to, but you're willing to share it, just push share, click now, and I appreciate it. Together, you and I will continue to change thousands of lives. I'm going to see if I can get to some of the people who are watching and just say hi. We'll see if we can get there. Hey, Jimmy, Terry, David, bless y'all so much. Appreciate you. Thank you for watching. That's all they'll show me at the moment. So I'm gonna say goodbye. Look forward to seeing you next Monday.